Hey guys, this is Desert Survivalist 1, just coming back with a sort of instructional video in my load carrying equipment line. This is going to be more of just a museum type video. I'm going to be going over the M1956 American load carrying equipment that served from early Vietnam through roughly the 80s or so, a little bit later in some cases. But this was the system standardized in 1956 by the U.S. military to replace all our World War II and gear that had served from World War II in Korea. I've got it strung out on my chair here just for ease of illustration. Spent about a year building this collection of the stuff. Made of canvas, not nylon like the later Alice gear. This is all canvas. Pretty solid stuff. Check into it maybe for your survival purposes, but it's not necessarily something I recommend. Stuff's kind of getting into the museum type stuff now. There's more modern alternatives, but this is just to kind of show you guys what the whole system is in case you hear it bantered around on survival forums and so forth. 1956 was when they introduced this gear, and first thing, there were a few variations in later years, specifically with the ammo pouches. This here is one of the original 1956 pattern ammo pouches, and we know this because it's got this little grommet in the tab. Later pouches, I forget what year the change was made, but later pouches, the majority of ammo pouches did not have this grommet. And this one's also got one of the steel plates kind of sewn into the gear, or the front of this pouch here. This is the for M14 or M16 mag pouches. This one is I believe this one is the pouch small arms ammunition. There's two different designators, pouch and case, and I still haven't quite figured out the delineation between those two. But I do know the earlier mag pouches had that little grommet in the flap. Later pouches don't, and later pouches also don't have that steel plate sewn into the top to provide rigidity. So on my rig I've got two of those guys, two of the originals, which were a pretty cool find. Secondarily, I've got the butt pack. The butt pack was the other thing they provided major variations on. This is a later butt pack. This was one manufactured in 1960, well, pattern of 1961. The earlier butt packs used kind of a flap system where it had this top flap here, and then inside two canvas wings, kind of like some of the World War II gear used this system. Two canvas wings would fold over top of this thing, and that's what would keep the contents in. Unfortunately, I guess that system didn't work out too well, so they enlarged the butt pack slightly and put this, they call it a waterproof or rubberized throat in the 1961 pattern butt pack. So you pull that open and that's all your gear. That's going to be the main variation. If you ever see the older style of butt pack, pick it up, because those are pretty rare. I still haven't found one of those, and I want to make this thing as original as possible. But that's going to be your butt pack, and you can carry quite a bit in here. This is kind of just a representative Vietnam era rig. I put a what's this, 1965 era dated mess kit in there. Kind of built this rig just out of a bunch of stuff I found. Since Vietnam was a wide war, it used World War II equipment all the way through some of the early Alice stuff, so it's kind of difficult to establish a rig and say, oh, this was the definitive what people carried in Vietnam. Well, people carried a lot of different stuff in Vietnam, web gear wise. So this is just a broadly representative setup of some of the stuff they carried. There's no real definitive issue, although I guess you could argue that definitive would be whatever's in the manuals, but I have a lot of other pouches on here. The compass bandage pouch on the top of the shoulder there, my 2 ammo pouches. I got 1 canteen pouch right now, and this is carrying the 1956 manufactured metal canteen, which is actually a tad bit larger than the World War II metal canteens. I also have a plastic canteen from 1964. I believe that was 2 years after they introduced them in 1962 when they introduced the plastic. Don't really have space for this on the rig, but either one was really what they carried in Vietnam. So 1964, my camera's horrible. But I have the canteen pouch. Don't have a cup yet, but we'll work on that. I have the pistol pouch to carry 2 .45 ACP magazines for the M1911 pistol. Of course, I've got the pistol belt itself, which is the basis of the whole rig. Kind of hard to see back in there. Used that kind of wire prong buckle to fasten on there. Then there's the entrenching tool carrier there. When was this one from? It doesn't say. Forget when this one was made, but that was the entrenching tool carrier, where you carry your folding shovel. Then there's the main suspenders themselves. They came in 3 different sizes actually. They weren't called small, medium, and large. It was something else. But those suspenders did come in 3 different sizes. They fastened onto in the front, they fastened on just to the little holes in the top of the pistol belt, and the back they actually had, here we go, they actually had some of those type spring buckles that go into the hole, hold it in the back of the pistol belt. That's the basic setup of the whole thing. Also, I included on this one, although this is actually from 1946, this World War II style first aid pouch. Later years they developed what they called the Jungle First Aid Kit, which was a nylon version of this pouch, which kind of spawned the Alice First Aid Kit version. Early on though, they carried the World War II version, which uses that M1910 wire hanger to go in the bottom, and you had more grommets to hang other stuff below it. And that was the kit they carried in the early war. I got a old school Band-Aid in there. So that's, like I say, there were a lot of variations on this gear carried during Vietnam, and that's one of them, was the first aid pouches there. Basically, there were a few other accessories you could add to this setup, the first being the sleeping bag carrier, and it was, I don't know if you can see in these straps, they kind of run over top of the main suspenders, run through there, and then they run around back and kind of loop up, and there's those loops would be what you'd carry your sleeping gear in. They were called the spaghetti straps. Not too highly thought of, kind of hard to figure out. It took me a while to figure out how to mount them on here. I was looking to see on the butt pack. I think the butt pack kind of had these little underhanging straps that you could strap a sleeping bag to, so I think a lot of people just ended up doing that when they carried it. But for those of you who figured this system out, well, you've achieved something. I have kind of an older, I don't know if there's an official change here, but I have another set of the spaghetti straps kind of laid out here to give you an idea. And I noticed as I was looking at them, they have these different slightly larger and basically only one stage buckles on there, whereas this one has they're slightly less heavy duty, and they actually two-stage, I'll call them, buckles. So I'm not sure if there is an official equipment change on that or not, but that was one thing I picked up at the military vehicle show, an extra pair of those. And I also found this bad boy here. This little square canvas strap thing is called the butt pack extender, and so you could hang a second butt pack somewhere up around here. Now I haven't figured out how these go on, because I don't have a second butt pack to add, so I'm not going to add it yet. Nor am I sure how many people actually use this system. The markings on this one are pretty immaculately readable for something that old, so it tells me this just came out of a warehouse and probably wasn't used. But that's actually a way you could expand the load carrying capability of this setup, was through that thing, butt pack extender. So that's my work in progress of my gear. I want to maybe redo the configuration of the belt, because I feel like usually there were at least two canteen pouches on there, and definitely want to go after an earlier model of butt pack. But for right now, this is what I've got, and keep finding accessories and so forth, like first aid gear to put in the first aid kit and so forth. So hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any more, I'm always looking for information on this stuff, especially on some of the variations in the gear. If anybody has any more points to add or anything, or you know where to get this stuff cheap, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you leave some comments in the comment section. Thanks.